I'm Holly Constant.
And I'm Maddie Hockaday. We really love Parks and Rec, and we really love behind-the-scenes details.
So we're researching everything from DVD extras like deleted scenes and commentaries,
plus interviewing cast and crew who actually worked on the show.
We also bring on guests and friends to geek out about everything parks.
So join us, you tropical fish.
This is literally the best Parks and Rec rewatch podcast.
We're your park pals.
There's a park and some pals, and there's also therapy too.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, hello everyone and welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Sorry that Maddie is not here again because she is off with her sweet little baby. But we have Molly Lenz again.
Hello. Hi.
How exciting. I'm so glad that you're like being more of a park pal. That's so exciting.
Yeah, I'm happy to be back. And you've got me like watching the episodes now while I'm working. I'm just back in it. So
yes! Oh my gosh. We love to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay. A couple of housekeeping notes. Number one is that if you have not rated or reviewed the podcast on Apple Podcast or Spotify, please do that because that really helps us. Secondly, I am doing a subscription now. I'm just going to see how that goes, meaning that if you pay $3 a month, you'll get early access to episodes, meaning that I'll post them about 4 days earlier because I usually have them ready anyway. And then secondly, some people, I feel like such an influencer when I say this, but it's really only Kathryn, but also other people too. Like some people like you guys have been asking for like more things.
A lot of people have been asking.
People like ask me about this, but no, people have actually said that they liked the Strike Pod, Kathryn in particularly, so shouts to her, but also like other people in general said that they really liked the Strike Pod when that was happening, and they do miss some of that, like just because those questions were fun and the solo ones were really funny, and they're easy for me because I'm just ranting and I can make a video about it as well. So that I'm gonna start doing like 30 to 40-ish minute bonus episodes for people that subscribe. Free people won't get it. You're not going to get it if it's free. Or if you're listening to it free, which is fine. Like, whatever. I understand that's a lot to ask for subscribing, and I'm not even being sarcastic like it is with all the monthly subscriptions and all this stuff. But if you feel like you want some more content from me, there you go. You have the option. Okay?
Love it.
Love it so much. I tried, and just like, I know you guys don't really care about how the sausage is made, but maybe you do. I tried doing Apple Podcast subscriptions, and it's like so much harder than it needs to be, and I don't want to pay anyone to figure it out. So Buzzsprout, which is my hosting platform, has a lot of other options. So I'm interested to see how it works out and if anyone is interested in this. So let me know any feedback and see how that goes. Okay. Recap from last episode. So the last episode was Sweet 16 with Jerry's birthday. And I totally forgot to do this, which is so wild because I never do this. But in the we talked about the sign place where Leslie goes to get her campaign sign printed and how funny that sign worker was because it was like a link to the picture and not an actual picture. So they put the link on the sign. And I did not mention this worker's name. We talked about how funny he was, but I didn't actually say his name. His name is Sam Carson. And I did reach out to his agents, so maybe he'll get back to me if he wants to talk about it. But if not, Sam, you did a great job. He's been in Pineapple Express, The Consultant, Shameless. He's done a ton of work, so I just wanted to give him a shout out because I usually do that, and I just didn't do it last episode, so wanted to cover that.
Yay, Sam.
Yay, Sam. Okay. Now, oh my gosh, Campaign Shakeup Season 4, Episode 17. We're getting into it. This is crazy. First of all, can you believe that there used to be like 22 episodes in a season? I mean, now it's like 6 episodes, 8 episodes. It's like wild.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if like network shows still have 17. You know what I'm saying? Like the ones that are on TV.
I kind of think they do. I feel like Abbott Elementary has quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should look into that. But either way, it's so wild. So just wanted to give that an acknowledgement because that's a lot of fucking episodes for one season. Anyway, this was written and directed by Dan Gore, who you know as a huge part of Parks as a producer, writer, director, but he also created Brooklyn Nine-Nine with Mike Schur. So
which we love.
Yes, which we love. So he's in the Sherverse. So far, we've seen his writing on like a bunch of episodes, like crazy episodes. Hunting Trip, Leslie's House, Freddy Spaghetti, The Trial of Leslie Knope, like so many great episodes. So shouts to him. And he wrote and directed it. So this is really a very short little moment for who wrote and directed the show. Great job, Dan. Okay. I'm trying to give you time to respond because I know I talk a lot. So if you don't and you need to cut me off, please do. Okay.
I try not to like just make little hmms and things that are just gonna be a waste of space. So
No, you should do that. I love when people do that. I do that.
No, you want the validation of my hmms.
Ooh. Yes. I want all that. Okay. All right, so Maddie sent in a summary, so I will go ahead and play that now.
Hello, I am here to give you a summary of Campaign Shakeup. So I'm very excited about this episode, specifically because Kathryn Hahn comes, and I love her and everything all the time. And so I'm just so excited. And I love how she plays Jennifer Barkley in these upcoming episodes. So very exciting. So here's our summary. With Leslie going part-time in her deputy director position, Chris encourages Ron to start looking for her replacement. Ron and the Parks gang take on the difficult and seemingly impossible task of showing Chris that they can handle all the Parks needs without Leslie. Leslie and Ben have to start re-strategizing after Bobby Newport hires a killer campaign manager. So I don't have a ton of thoughts to add, just because I think there's so many like little things rather than big things that I would want to add. But I do love this episode because of Kathryn Hahn, and the fact that she's able to take this seemingly completely oblivious person and spin it so that he looks like the better candidate next to Leslie, which we know is insane. And then obviously Ron having to try is quite comical, and the fact that he has to bring so many different people together and even pull an Anne is just comical. And as Leslie, because Holly is my Leslie, as Holly and I discussed earlier this week, it's just, you wouldn't be able to have the Parks Department without Leslie, like at all. So I think it gives them a different level of appreciation of her, hopefully. So I hope you guys have a fun time recording. I hope everybody has a fun time listening to the episode. And again, I hope I'm back soon.
Yay. Thank you, Maddie, for that. So fun.
I feel like it sounded like she had a sleeping baby while she was doing that. She's like, here's the summary.
I know. I can't tell. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I bet she was trying to be quiet, though. Probably like locked away in a little closet or bathroom or something and just like, here it is. Yeah, we did talk about this and I'll talk about it further, but I don't know if it's where I'm at with my life or what it is, but Chris has been kind of annoying in the last couple episodes. But when he tells Ron, like, you need to finish a project, I texted Maddie and I was like, yeah, Ron, I want to see you fucking do one thing and see how that goes without Leslie. See how it goes. And I was just like kind of bitter about it. So I'm glad that they showed that.
I know. I do wonder, like, how does that work? Like, how is he employed and continuing to have this job when he doesn't want to do anything?
I wonder how he's stayed employed, but as far as like not been fired, for how obvious he is about how much he doesn't like it. The reason he is employed right now is because of Leslie, because he doesn't have to do anything. It's like that group project mentality that that Chris and I talked about in the last episode, where like, since everything's getting done, since the Parks Department is flowing and being productive because of Leslie, he doesn't have to worry, you know? Mm-hmm. So like his job is safe as long as Leslie's there. But then in this episode, he's so like obvious hating the government to Chris, his boss. So it is very confusing. Yeah. But good question. This cold open is Purd. We haven't seen Purd in a while. Purd is back. We also haven't talked about the campaign in a while. It's been more about Jerry's birthday, Ben and Leslie's like relationship, that kind of thing, which is really nice. Also, we learned for the first time in this episode, the announcer says it, and it's in the title, that his full name is Purderick. Yeah. I was like, did I know that? What?
Of course. Not just purd. Purderick.
Purderick L. Happily. So I wonder what the L stands for.
Probably Leonard.
Leonard, that's great. Can you imagine? Purderick Leonard, get your ass to school. Oh my God, I love that so much. Okay, so let's see. He's talking to two people about the campaign and how each of them are doing, Leslie and Newport. Those people did such a great job of being political pundits. Like, I just feel like their inflections and their stuttering and like, yeah, like, look, let's talk about it. That kind of vibe was really good. I liked it.
Yeah.
Dylan is played by Chris Regan. He's actually mainly a writer and a producer, which is awesome. He's worked on Family Guy, Ted, The Daily Show, George Lopez's show, like a lot more. Super cool. And he did contact me back, and he'll be sending some voice memos. I sent him a voice memo, but he didn't see it because you know how Instagram likes to, quote, protect your privacy. So like you can't see all the messages all the time, like especially from a new person. So it's like, we're recording tomorrow, but that's like really soon. So I'll add it to the next episode. And they're talking about how Bobby just fired his campaign manager and Bobby's nowhere to be even seen here. Like, where is he? Which is also what Lisa Maltaro, who like that's her name on the little card, the little title card thing, the other pundit says, like, he's not even here because he also puts his foot in his mouth all the time, which I love that they like Bert doesn't know what that means or has never heard that expression.
It's a hilarious image.
Yeah, exactly. It's a common expression. Okay.
The way that he says okay, like sure.
Yeah. Like, I'll be nice to you, but that's crazy. Let's see. So Lisa Maltaro is played by Sarah Gabori. She's done It's Always Sunny, Bones, a couple of shorts. She's an LA acting coach / teacher, so that's great too. I'll tag her as well, so you guys can take a look if you're interested in classes. So basically they are bashing Bobby Newport, and then they give a lot of credit to Ben as campaign manager, which is so great. We love this. We love to see the kind of like validation of Ben being a part of the campaign and not being poisoned to the campaign, which is so wonderful. And then this is where Leslie says he's a sexy little hummingbird. Also, I don't know if this was intentional on Adam Scott's part or if Dan Gore, the director, told him to do this or what it was, but he like pops out like a hummingbird. Like he's kind of like...
He was like up a step. Yeah, he was like up one step and just pops out. It's so funny.
It is funny. What did you just say? I also love Leslie's like, afterwards. It's so funny weird. And so cute and weird and lovely and perfect.
I have two things on the other candidate.
Oh my God, tell me.
And so, okay, first of all, have y'all talked about Fester Trim and how he was Buddy Garrity in Friday Night Lights?
No.
Okay, did you watch Friday Night Lights?
No.
Okay.
It's on my list.
It is one of my favorite shows ever. And Fester Trim, who's the guy, like the gun store owner or whatever.
Oh, okay.
He is Buddy Garrity in Friday Night Lights, who is the dad of one of the main high school kids. So he has like a big part in Friday Night Lights, and it was just so funny to see him pop up.
Yeah, well, because we don't see his face, I think, in this one, right? Like you're talking about when they do the debate.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's so fun. He totally, I could see, like, just speaking of, I don't know, thinking of all of the people that are in Friday Night Lights, I could totally see him fitting in that cast and like whole energy vibe.
Yeah. I mean, you could almost see him, like, he's just so Southern anyway in Parks and Rec that it just feels like it's the same person.
Honestly, does he play like, I don't know, like you would think that his character in Friday Night Lights loves guns too?
I mean, probably, like not quite to a crazy extent, but he is he owns a car dealership.
Oh, okay.
And he's just kind of a good old boy type. So yeah,
got it.
Could definitely see that.
That's so cool.
Yes. Okay. Also note on Manrico, who he's the guy who's like the animal lover, right? I think.
Yeah.
Okay. The way that they spelled his name on the poll makes no sense to me. So Manrico.
How did they do it? I missed it.
It's Manrico is fine. Whatever. but it's Della Rosa. And they spell Della Rosa, first of all, Della, which to me seems Italian, like
Oh, yeah.
Della,
Uh-huh.
I feel like. And then also Rosa is spelled with 2 S's.
What? Like Rasa.
Yeah, like that makes no sense to me.
Guys, that's not right.
Which actually, I have another note on the typo later, a couple actually. I've been paying a lot of attention to the signs and stuff in the background in this episode. So
Oh my God, I'm so excited to hear it.
I hope you're prepared for that.
I am so prepared. You know, I love a good like goof mix up kind of thing. I love that so much. I'm so happy that you took notes. That's so exciting.
Oh yeah, of course. So yeah, I just thought that was really weird.
Yeah, that is a weird spelling. I would not imagine that that's how you do it. And also, one person that I forgot to mention with candidates is Brandy Max. She's running too. This is our first, I think, mention that she's running.
And of course, she's in 3rd place, doing great.
Totally. She's thriving. We did interview her, by the way, if you guys were interested in listening to that. I'll post it in the show notes, but she's amazing. Mara is her name. And yeah, oh my gosh, Brandy Max is the best. I love it so much.
That's awesome.
Oh my God. Okay, great. I can't wait to hear the rest of those typos. Amazing.
Yes.
Okay, now we're at the senior center, and they're talking about how they need to get the gray vote, which is the old people vote, because you need senior citizens to vote, especially in local elections, because they don't have anything else to do, and they're very, involved, which I totally get it. Ben's hair is so tall and floofy here. I just wanted to acknowledge that. It's like he took a comb and just kind of like brushed upwards to make everything stand up, and I was like, that's really funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the Godfather, but old, is what Leslie says about Ned Jones, which is the president of the Pawnee Seniors United, which I think is a really funny little throw to that movie. The Grandfather, whatever. He's old and we need his vote.
Oh yeah, this is my next side note, is that the Pawnee Seniors United, the P is a cane, which I think is so funny.
Oh my God! I didn't notice that. I gotta go back and watch it now. I did notice that sign. I looked at the sign, but I did not see the cane. Molly, that's
so
amazing.
Funny.
Oh my God, so good. That is brilliant. Oh my God, I'll have to take a picture of it and post it. Okay. Oh my gosh. The legendary Carl Reiner is Ned Jones. This is so wild that they got him. Insane. For those of you who don't know, which you should, but I will help you. Carl Reiner is truly legendary in this industry, super comedy giant. And he created the Dick Van Dyke Show. And that was a really huge thing.
Oh, wow.
And they just did a birthday special for Dick Van Dyke, like, I think before Christmas. My mom and I watched it. It was so special. And like all these people performed and like did a tribute to him, basically, to Dick Van Dyke, not Carl Reiner. But they showed that, Carl was the creator and everything. He's since passed. So he wasn't like there or anything. Just want to make that clear. But yeah, he worked really closely with Sid Caesar, who's also a comedy giant, and just like a magnificent actor. So many roles on TV and film, but also like, an writer producer in addition to being an actor. But he was in Ocean's 11 franchise, Angie Tribeca, Hot in Cleveland. Like he has like literally 112 things on IMDb, I think it is. Something around there. It's crazy. I mean, he's old,
Wow.
but still, it's crazy.
Impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. And then, what was I going to say? Oh, his son is also an actor, so you might be more familiar with Rob Reiner. So Carl passed in 2020, and his son is probably, I don't know, maybe 60, something like that. But I think this demographic, like Rob Reiner has done so many things, but like I think this demographic might know him best from New Girl. He plays Jess's dad.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I knew that
Yeah.
name sounded familiar. Yeah. Oh, he's so funny.
He's so funny, and he does so many wonderful things. And I think Rob Reiner was at that Dick Van Dyke tribute, so that was fun to see him. But yeah, I mean, he's done so much more than New Girl, but I figured that's how you guys might.
That was the best reference for me, so thank you.
Yes, love it. I love Carl Reiner's like just the way they wrote this for him, and I don't know. I'm sure it was like a mixture of writing and him, but like his back and forth of like Leslie's like, "Don't get up," and he's like, "Don't worry, I can't. I mean, I can. I'm just joking, but it is hard, but I can do it." Like I just love this kind of up and down thing that he does. And Ben gives him a face like, "Oh, really? Like, you can't get up? Oh my God." But then he says it's like just joking. There is a deleted scene here that was amazing that he does kind of similar acting things where he basically says all the candidates say they're for seniors. Like, what are you really different? Like, why, like Leslie, why would you need the vote or get the vote? And Leslie says she started a walking club. She added prunes to the snack stands. I love how they're leaning into the old person thing, like all of like the tropes about an old person. And she started a swing dancing club, but it turned into a swingers club.
Oh, that's one of the things that there's signs for.
Oh, are there?
Yes, there's a sign for swingers club, and then later when Kathryn Hahn like busts in to talk about the thing, there's a sign behind her that says Swingers Hall of Fame.
Oh, this is giving me such life to see these connections. That's my favorate thing.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So they left a little piece of that in.
I am so glad that you said that because I missed those. I gotta go. And I even watched it again this morning to like, just whatever. I was like, oh, Molly, thank you so much. Anyways, so yeah, they had a swingers club, and then so they had to cancel this club because, and Ned Jones is so funny. He's like, "Are you coming on to me?" "No, just kidding." "Well, are you little vixen?" And I was like, oh my God. And then he was like, no, it's right to cancel the club. Like, again, doing that up and down thing. And it was just like so funny. But then he says she has his endorsement. So that I think is interesting to know in a deleted scene. He doesn't just leave it hanging. Like he really does say, you have my endorsement. And then he switches. Foreshadowing, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. But though in the actual show, Ben, when he says like, "Oh God, cancer," like when he says he doesn't have time, I was like, why would you say that out loud? Like you can think that. That really reminds me of like if someone's pregnant or if you think someone's pregnant and you're like, "When's the baby due?" And they're like, "What?
Yeah.
I'm not pregnant." I was like, Ben! Oh my God. Anyways. But he really just doesn't have enough time because he is going to his swim aerobics class. And I don't know that I've heard it called swim aerobics. I've heard water aerobics, but I love a swim aerobics or a water aquatic aerobic water games moment. It's so fun.
Have you done that?
Yeah, we did it in the Dominican, actually. And
that's cute.
I feel like I did it somewhere else too. But most of the time it's at like hotels and stuff like that I've done it or have seen it on like the schedule of events or something. Mm-hmm. And that one, like the one that we did was kind of like you move really fast. He was moving really fast. And I was like, oh my God, this is actually like, yeah, this is a workout. And like the water resistance and all that. It's good for your joints.
Yeah, I could see it being a good workout. That is another sign that's behind them is for swim aerobics. And so all of the clubs have little taglines to them when they have signs up for them. So the swim aerobics says, "Swim aerobics, grab your suit and shake your booty."
Oh my God! I love that! Oh my God!
So funny.
Shake your booty! That is wonderful. Oh my God.
And there's also a speed dating sign, which just says, "Speed dating, don't spend life alone." Just kind of a downer.
Such a bummer. Oh my God, I love these events.
I know. Just a great time at the old folks' home.
Honestly. Well, and that's the thing too. It's like I was fascinated by this being a Senior Citizens United because is it like a nursing home or is it more of like I think you know what I think it is? It's like the I don't know. You came to Damn Yankees, right? The show that must not be named.
Yes.
That I hated with every fiber of my being. Anyhow, I was like, probably shouldn't say that, but also I'm sure no one listens to that was in there. Anyhow, that was at like a senior center, like a 55 plus or whatever the hell, and they always had like sewing classes and cooking classes and things like that. So that's what this probably is.
Yeah, I think that's right. My grandma used to go to one for painting classes.
Oh my God, that's so fun! I want to do that.
Yeah.
Some of their events look really cool, honestly. I mean, it's kind of like the Parks and Rec. So, like, you don't have to be a senior to go to some of these. Parks and Rec has a lot of these events as well. So, you know, look up your local Parks and Rec thing schedule. But that is so cute and so fun. I love knowing that information. Oh my gosh. Great. Well done.
Thank you.
So he asks why he should choose her, and Leslie says they're really behind on the times on wheelchair accessibility, and she has an initiative called Ramp Up Pawnee, and it actually is true. I mean, there are very little ramps. Like, if you look around at places that have stairs, it's just, like, not common, or and if it's there, it's, like, in this random-ass little, like, back entrance thing, which I find... That's why I find her initiative so great, because you can just add it on to literally wherever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nice. But also, I would think that a government building or like, I don't know, aren't there codes? Like,
okay, so I looked this up. The ADA, which is the, oh gosh, I didn't write that down. Accessibility something or something else. It requires pre-existing buildings, those constructed like prior to the dates that were listed, to have ramps if it is, quote, readily achievable for the owner to install them. It didn't sound like it was illegal to not have a ramp.
Oh, interesting.
It just sounded like, yeah, like you said, codes. But like, it seems like a gray area. So if someone can correct me on that, I'd love to find out more research, because it should be illegal, I think. I think it should be a law to have ramps in every building, especially federal or a government building or local government buildings kind of thing. But yeah, it just seemed more of like a gray area of like, if it's readily accessible, then you need to have one.
All you have to do is be like, we're having a hard time. And then they're like, okay, you're fine.
Right. So maybe that'll be a recap for next episode if I do some more research on some more laws, because that doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, I would think that too. So now we're at Ron and Chris. Ron comes into Chris's office and he's hanging from that like pull-up crunch bar thing. I'm with Ron at this point. Like, can't you do that at a gym? Why are you doing that in your office clothes, in your actual, like, that thing seems dangerous. Just saying.
Yeah. My question is, why does Ron say, isn't there a men's gymnasium you can do that?
So specific. He's definitely like the like that old man who, you know, I don't know, I just picture Ron always in like an Alec Baldwin type of character, where they're just going to these older establishments that are full of like leather and dark wood and smoking cigars, and there's like this old ass weight machine somewhere.
Yeah.
Men's gymnasium.
I can definitely see that.
Did you watch Scrubs?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if you remember this, but there's an episode where Ted, the cute little lawyer who gets screwed over all the time, gets stuck in this thing and he can't dismount. Do you remember that episode?
No, I don't.
And like the blood is rushing to his head and he's been there all day, and like they let him go and he's like, oh, and he like passes out.
Oh no.
But it just like, I don't know, that's why I feel like it's dangerous, but it seems like Chris can like pull up to get to the, you know, the bar to get off of it, but it doesn't seem right. It's like those pull-up bars that you put above your door frames. Like, first of all, are you really going to use it if you're not Chris? Maybe like one time. And secondly, it just takes up so much unnecessary space. But if you want to do it, it's fine. It feels like one of those like Bowflex vibes where it's like, this was all the rage back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we have one. Kyle has one.
What, a pull-up bar or the upside down crunch thing?
Well, no, just a pull-up bar that he hangs.
Okay. Does he use it?
He does, yeah.
Oh, good. Kyle,
he kind of like goes through phases, but yeah, he does.
Okay. Well, good for you, Kyle. I'm rooting for you. I hope you use it all the time and you can do multiple push-ups or pull-ups. I hate pull-ups. I'm so bad at them. And I think they're necessary, but I'd rather figure out another shoulder exercise, arm exercise?
Yeah, I haven't done them in a long time. When I was in high school, I thought that they were fun and I would just do them because I was.
Did you have to get tested to do them? We got tested. We were like, how many pull-ups
No,
can you do? And it was so embarrassing because I could never do any.
that sounds terrible.
It was awful. You could either do that or you could choose to like do like a chin hold thing.
Hmm.
I could hold for like 2 seconds. It was like 1, 2, the end. Like it
Yeah.
was, I did not have upper body strength. It was crazy. Those like PE tests are traumatizing.
That's the benefit of private school.
Is that you went to private school?
Hmm.
Oh, did I know that? Oh my
I
God.
don't know. Do I not give off private school vibes?
I don't know what vibes private schools are. I'm way far away from that. Wait, so did you do that for your entire school career, like elementary, middle, and high school?
Yeah. So I went to my grade school was kind of like a Montessori type vibe, very
Mm.
liberal, progressive. And then my high school was a Catholic high school. So kind of
Oh,
both sides of the coin.
what the heck? This is why I love podcasting. I swear I find the most interesting / like I should know that after knowing you for 800 years. And it doesn't even have anything to do with parks, yet here I am learning stuff. Love
I
it. Oh my
know.
God. Great. Okay, well, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Okay. I wrote this note again. Okay, this is the last thing I have about the pull-up thing, crunch bar, whatever. I was like, even Chris can't get out of it. Like, you have to do this thing with multiple people around, or like you have to have somebody to help you, which negates the fact that it's a home gym thing. So anyway, that was my 2 cents about that.
I kind of don't believe it though. I think that he could have easily gotten out of it by himself. I feel
You're
like
right.
they just wanted to have that moment where Ron had to like
It's, like,
touch him
awkward.
and then he was like,
And it's, yeah, totally. And it's also a Chris thing too, to be like safety conscious of like, let's just make sure I've got a spotter kind of vibe.
yeah.
That's true. Okay. All right. So Chris makes the point that usually you have 12 people in this type of department, in Ron's department, but they only have 7. And that is because, it's funny that Chris kind of gives him a chance to explain himself. Like, why is that? And then Ron's like, because I want to be ineffective. And he's like, it's because Leslie Knope does the work of 4 people. Like, are you kidding? And this part is where I got, last episode is where you kind of start to get, I don't know, maybe not everybody, but you kind of start to get frustrated with Leslie because you're like, it's okay that you can't do this stuff. Like, and by this stuff, I just mean all of it. You're working literally 100 hours a week, plus like all your volunteer stuff and all this other things. And I was like, I want Leslie, and it comes from a place of love for me. And Maddie can attest to this because I've said the same thing to her, but I want her to stand up for herself and like ask for more pay or something because she is literally needing 4 people's salaries. Are you kidding me? And I get it that she loves it so much and like this is just a part of who she is. But I was like, you deserve to get compensated for all of the work that you're putting in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or she should be a CEO or some shit. Like, come on. I was so upset for her. Like for her. Not at her. You know?
Yeah. She's
Anyway.
just like so pure. She doesn't even think about it.
I know. She doesn't think about the money. That is so true. You're right. But from the outside, obviously, looking in, it's always like, 2020 vision. It's like, can't you see this? But anyway, Chris says he needs to hire someone to pick up the slack for Leslie, and Ron, like, snaps accidentally. I love this, though. Like, from Nick Offerman. Like, no. And like I said at the beginning with Maddie's summary and everything, like weirdly, I really actually see Chris's point, like in this scenario, at least, like seriously, maybe, I don't know. Again, it is all coming back to Leslie doing something, but I'm like, Ron, yeah, I'd love to see if you can do anything. One small memo. I would love to see anything at all be done without Leslie. Like she literally runs the department and you do nothing. So yeah, I was mad at him. If I'm being frank. I loved him in the last episode and I still love him here. But because last episode was his like mentorship vibe, so like we know it's in him. But I was like mad at him that he just like allows this to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, There is a deleted scene here where Ron tries to prove like the department can be handled so that Chris doesn't have to hire anyone, and they go around to each person in the parks department, and everyone is doing something that's not work. Like, I actually don't know how this office functions without Leslie. Like, Andy's detangling wires, Donna's doing her nails, Jerry's computer email is like broken. He doesn't even know how to like access his emails. And so but I get why they cut it, because it did what the chaotic like water fight thing did. Like, we didn't need to see going around to each individual's desk, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So wild.
That's funny.
And
also,
oh yeah, go ahead. No, you go first.
I was just going to say, I thought it was so funny and bizarre that Ron said that it reminded him of when he had to choose which of his pet calves to slaughter for his 6th birthday.
6 years old.
Like, I wouldn't have been surprised if he said like his 12th birthday or whatever, but 6.
Oh my God. I know. Well, we're really getting these terrifying stories, because in the last episode, he talks about how he worked at the steel mill and the tannery or whatever when he was 12, and he had to choose, and he like made this awful mistake, and he was like in middle school or something like this. And I was like, what?
Yeah. Ron's had a hell of a life.
He's had a hell of a life. Yeah, totally. And then like in Andy's episode where he goes to college or whatever, he talks about how he was really young, and like he put himself through college or put himself through some classes or whatever. So yeah, I totally I love how they keep adding to Ron's like craziness of his childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes it all the better when you do finally meet his mom, and then you can kind of picture what's going on, or like how his life must have been with her in it, you know?
Yeah.
Chris says in a deleted scene that this isn't about Ron's philosophy on government. Like, it's actually about incompetence, which I think is really interesting, because that Ron's whole little vibe, I feel, or his explanation is like, I don't care about the government. I don't want this to be effective. I care about the taxpayer, blah, 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 blah. And Chris is like, it's not about that. It's actually about this whole department being incompetent. And I was like, that's really interesting. But what was funny is that Ron is like, well, potato, like same thing. And I love Chris is so like direct. He's like, it's potato. No one says potato. And I was like, that's true, actually. Why do we say that? It would work better if it was tomato, because people in Britain and
that is the phrase. That's tomato is the actual thing.
Is it? I thought it was potato.
I don't think so.
I thought it was both. Oh my God.
I feel like I'm pretty sure it's tomato, and then maybe at some point someone was just goofing around and they were like, potato. But that's not the thing.
That's not the legitimate phrase. Okay. I was like, Chris, that's so true. I never thought of that. Oh my God. Well, I guess my mindset is correct with everyone else about tomato, and then that is the correct setting. So
yes.
Okay, we're good. Should I cut that out? No, we're not going to.
We're learning.
This is an open, safe space, everyone. Okay.
Yes. If you say potato, that's fine. We don't judge you.
Nope. Or me for not knowing that wasn't the right phrase. Okay. Anyway, we're back with Ned Jones going over the Ramp Up Pawnee initiative, and he says Leslie reminds him of his brother, who was also named Leslie, and again does this up and down thing. He lost the middle third of his torso. He's shorter, but he's good looking. But he's a young, flat man.
When he said flat man, I was like, hold on a second, because first he gestures to his torso is gone, right? So he would be shorter. But then when he says flat man, I was like, are you saying it's like the middle, like vertically?
Yeah. No, I totally understand what you're saying. Like more of like a Gumby situation, like flat. No, I think that he just said flat, like like shorter. He means short, flat. I totally understand, though. I went there too. I did too.
Oh, so funny.
Flat though? Oh my God. Well, anyway, Ned tells us that Bobby hired a new campaign manager because Leslie's like, what campaign manager? Like, Bobby doesn't even have what? She wants to meet at 5 p.m. with Ned, but he doesn't talk politics after dinner. Again, leaning in to every old person, like, stereotype. It's so funny.
I love it.
Well, now Leslie's researching this new campaign manager back at home with Ben. And it says, they find out that Bobby hired a new Washington hotshot. She's a Republican, she ran a Republican congressional campaign and a Senate race. I did pause on the Wikipedia page to see what other information we could find from her. Did you do that too?
I did.
Oh my God! Okay, I'll tell you what I found,
Yes.
and you tell me what you found. First of all, it says that she was born in Chicago, which is lovely to hear. Just because I like Chicago, not for any other reason. Anyway, she is a prominent American political consultant, commentator, educator, actor, attorney, media personality, and prominent pundit. I think it's funny that she's an actor. That's one that I globbed onto.
Wait, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's in the first sentence, like right before attorney.
Oh,
I thought
funny.
it was so funny.
Yeah.
It says that she was on a show, NBC's Political Shootout, and was a co-host on that. And she's an honorary professor at Yale School of Law.
Lol.
A Yale School of Law. She's the oldest of 3 children, and her parents were teachers, and one sold encyclopedias door to door. What an interesting background for her.
Mm-hmm. Okay, wait.
Those are the things I found.
Okay, I think that you might have paused it right before I did because I think it was kind of like panning down the page. So what's after that?
Oh my God, tell me.
First of all, well, this is on the side. She attended Dissension Catholic High School in Evanston, which, unless that's something else, I feel like it's just a joke of like, instead of Ascension High School, like Jesus, it's called Descension Catholic High School.
Amazing.
Really weird and dark. So you didn't see this thing about her dad? Okay. Her dad owned a smelting plant, and it says the smell of first of all, I didn't even write this sentence down, but it said something like, life was always hard for young Jennifer. And then it said, the smell of the smelting plant her father owned drowned her clothes in a nasty odor, and she had no real friends because of the smell. Poor Jen had no friends because she smelled terrible.
What a character building thing for Jen to be this wonderful, rich, like, well-known lady.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow.
There you go.
I'm so glad you paused on that and got like the second half. What a nice little puzzle piece we made. Oh my God. Yeah, I didn't see the thing about the dad. I just saw that one sold encyclopedias door to door and one was a teacher, but I didn't so they had multiple professions, it sounds like.
Yes.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. I love that so much. Anything I can hear about Jen Barkley's background sounds incredible to me all the time.
Yes. I also have 2 notes about Leslie's home, or is it? Do they live in her house, or where are we?
Oh, it's April and Andy's house. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which Ben technically lives at because he's still their roommate. Whatever. It's stupid.
Okay. Yeah. Forgot about that. So there's a cage with like toy dinosaurs behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then also,
I don't know why. I can't explain it. I just saw it too.
It makes more sense that it's April and Andy's house. Now I was like, what? Yeah. And then also the sign or whiteboard behind them where they're strategizing and stuff. There's this note that's, I think it's like populations of types of voting groups. And so like it says undecided 4301, right? And then it says the obese 129. Which
oh my
is
God.
like funny by itself, but also isn't like everyone supposed to be obese? How are there only 129?
Well, I feel like Sean and I have talked about this too, where like they talk about obese people all the time, but there's really nobody obese like that we see. Maybe right. Jerry could like go into that, I guess, but like it's so funny. Oh my God. They're just trying to build that up, aren't they?
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, you'd think that there would be more than 129, but maybe the obese people are going with Newport because he owns Sweetums.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
I love that detail though. Thank you for finding that. There was a calendar that I was going to research it said like Jolie something, and I was like, I don't know what that is. So the backgrounds of these scenes are so well thought out and like detailed. It's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, love that so much. Also, the random picture of her eating egg salad with Colin Powell, that is so funny. Oh my God, what a random ass thing to be eating with like a political leader.
I know. And Leslie has like never been more impressed by anything.
I know, right? Oh my God. Well, then Ben is smiling because this means Bobby is scared. Like they must have shelled out a fortune to hire her. They're, Leslie's really proving to be a threat to Newport's campaign. So Ben wants to have a meeting and at JJ's diner, which is a home field advantage. And then this is the second comment that she makes about Ben being small / slight but powerful body. Oh my God. But she loves it though. Like I'll talk about it when we get there, but like she makes a third comment and he's like, do you wish I was taller? But like she is not wanting to change anything. She loves it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Very cute.
I think it's so cute. All right. So do you have anything before Ron goes to Anne?
No.
Okay. So Ron goes to Anne and says her name fully for the first time, Anne Perkins. And I just love this dry delivery of like, nonsense. We are close friends. Because Anne's like, wow, that's the first time you said my name. And he makes Anne head of the water fountain hygiene upgrade because it sounds like Anne tried to start this thing a while ago with the health department. And she explains, this is so nasty. She explains that they put their whole mouths over the water fountain. Can you imagine though? Like I do wonder how they did, like how they sanitized maybe for the actors to do that.
Yeah.
And before COVID.
Yeah. Good question.
What? Chris was so funny in the last episode. I can't remember what we were talking about. We were just saying how this town is so wild and crazy. And Chris was like, well, in one episode, we have to like tell people not to deep throat a water fountain. So I think we're like, it's like, oh my God, that's so true. That's such a great way to put it. Funny and weird, but great. Ugh, so true. But also, like, who thinks of doing that? I just want to know who was the first person. Like, they are children, I guess, and they just followed suit. Like, no one ever told them, like, you don't do that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the disease that must be rampant with that. Gross. Ron says he wants this project completed by tomorrow, which, okay, we'll see. April's still being mature and shuts her door and like, I don't know. I'm like, April, can you just like be like a grown up for 5 seconds? But it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. And then, oh my God, we're meeting Jen Barkley. So exciting.
Yes.
Love this so much. We see Marta again, which is so fun. Marta is the waitress, and we've seen her before. She sent us an incredible voice memo during Summer Catalog in season 2. That must have been so cool to get that call like 2 years later that you want, like that you're being asked back. And I sent her a little email and I just said, oh my gosh, we're finally getting to this episode. This is so great. I'm so excited. If you have anything to share, like totally, but also like, I understand, you know, it's a long time ago. You already sent a voice memo. You don't have to. I don't know. But she did. She sent us one. And so I really want to play that for you.
Hi, Holly and Maddie. Thanks so much for having me back on the pod for a campaign shakeup. First of all, I have to tell you that getting the call from my agent to be on the show again was just a bolt from the blue. Summer Catalog was in season 2, so getting the call from my agent to tell me they wanted me back was really unexpected. Amy Poehler was so welcoming once we were on the set. When we got to chat before the cameras rolled, she recognized me. She told me how nice it was to have me back. I'd been hoping to have a chance to tell her how happy I was to be called back. So it was really nice that she brought it up, right? I remember we did a lot of takes of our entrance with the cameras at every angle. But once the scene got started with Amy and Kathryn Hahn and Adam Scott, I really felt like I was just watching a master class of improv. Imagine being in the same room as Amy Poehler and Kathryn Hahn. I felt so lucky just to be there. The first few takes, they kept it pretty close to the script, but then the director let him off the leash And there was just take after take of the funniest stuff you can imagine. I really hope that the outtakes are available somewhere because every time they did it, the scene just got funnier and funnier and funnier. It's been a while since that day, so I don't remember exactly what they said. I just remember having to cover my mouth while they were filming. And as soon as the director yelled cut, the entire cast and crew just burst out laughing. And I think that's it, really. That's all I've got. It was a great day on a great show. And I hope that was a fun little peek behind the gold lame curtain of Hollywood.
Yay, that was so nice.
Yeah, that's so
She's
fun
so
that they did it like a million times.
I know. Oh my gosh, I can't imagine. That was so. Well, first of all, did I say her name? Her name is Anna Rey-Oktay, and Anna sent, like I said, Anna sent in some voice memos last time, so it was really nice to hear that some like little tiny details because you know me, I just love every single behind the scenes moment possible. But that is so sweet that Amy remembered her and was like, "Oh my god, I'm so glad you're back." Oh, so beautiful. But yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look at the bloopers and see if those outtakes are in there. They weren't in the deleted scenes, so maybe they're in the bloopers. But I'm sure they had so much that they could pull from. I mean, yeah, crazy. So cute. Thank you, Anna, for sending that. I really appreciate it. On to Jen Barkley, played by Kathryn Hahn, queen goddess of everything. And if you don't know her, I mean, you know her because you're listening to this podcast, so I'm sure that you have, seen her. But people really slept on her, I think, until she was in WandaVision. Then people were like, oh my God, who's Kathryn Hahn? Like, where's she been? And I'm like, baby girl, she's been around for a long time, being funny and beautiful and wonderful actor, like, for such a long time. But obviously Marvel really skyrockets you. So I do get it for certain people. But she's been in so many things. She was in, and I was going to talk to you about this because I know you like this movie. Do you remember when she was in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days?
Oh, yes.
Of course. That was like one of her first things. Amazing. Mm-hmm. So good. More recently, she was in Tiny Beautiful Things, which is a TV show I believe is on Hulu, and she was nominated for an Emmy and a Golden Globe, I think. She's also in this wonderful movie called Private Life with Paul Giamatti, who was just in The Holdovers. Brilliant, excellent, and was also nominated and won a Golden Globe. But anyway, she was in that movie with him, and it's about this like thing where she's doing, what's it called, IVF, where they for implants, or not implants, you know what I'm talking about, for pregnancy. And it's really good. It's very dramatic, like indie film. It's really good. But it's also really funny too. So wonderful. And she's also in a ton of movies with Paul Rudd and that whole like circle of people. She was in a movie called Our Idiot Brother, where Paul Rudd is the idiot brother. Mm-hmm. She was in Wanderlust with Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer Aniston works at my office, and people have called her accidentally Jennifer Aniston, so that is actually hilarious. And then, obviously, she was in Step Brothers with Adam Scott.
Oh, there you go.
A little circle.
Plus, she's in our favorite movie, The Holiday.
I wrote it down. She's in our favorite movie, The Holiday, with Jim from The Office. The tiny little scene is excellent, perfect. I think about her all the time in that.
Little moment with her headband that people were wearing in 2004.
Perfect. I did write that down. I literally wrote OMG, our fave movie.
I love it.
Yep. And then the last one that I had written down was she was in Win a Date with Tad Hamilton. You remember that?
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen that in a long time.
That's a great movie. I love that movie. It's so stupid and I love it so much. Oh my God. Anyways, so just wanted to do a little tiny breakdown on Kathryn Hahn. She's amazing, so follow her, do all the things. But as Jen Barkley, she's here at the table. She has her table covered in newspapers and her laptop and coffee. She's super intimidating, but then when she, because of like her speaking a bunch of languages with all these like newspapers and different like from different areas and different nations and things like that. But then when she speaks, she's like so happy and fun and polite and nice, and you're like, what? And they're both Ben and Leslie are put off and like, this is weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So funny that they enter like so flustered. And then she's like, hey, Jen Barkley, hi.
Exactly. She's just so in control of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
But I also love her line. Like, I think one of her anchors as as a character thing, and I don't know, this is just me, if I don't know if she did this, but her line of like, which we'll get there, I'm skipping ahead a little bit. Her line of, I don't actually care about any of this. Like, it's not personal. I'm just trying to do my job. You know what I mean? That's what I think is her thesis, if you will. Like, that she can be nice. It's not, she has a really good job, or she does a really good job of separating personal and business. But like, it's so off-putting because Leslie's character is, both of those are combined so deeply. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting. And also, I mean, she insults Leslie, so obviously there is that later on. I read also online somewhere that the newspaper in Arabic, the headline reads, Washington sails Saudi Arabia F-15 jet planes in the midst of World War III within the Gulf region. Israel and Palestine to hold peace talks in Jordan with Qatar, monitoring. So I'm not going to get into that whole thing, but I am going to say Israel and Palestine has been happening for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? So her whole aura character, like I said, is just so in place at this moment. It really reminds me of John Ralphio, actually, because when John Ralphio first comes in, he's set. He knows who he is. He knows who this character is. Like, there's no arc or like, well, I mean, yeah, kind of an arc, but there's really no like wading in the water, getting your feet wet with this character. He's just like full on in immediate. And that's how it is with Jen Barkley. Because of Kathryn Hahn. It's amazing. And I love this. She said Ben has been doing great with the campaign. Leslie is doing federal government caliber work. And they're just like really shaken up at all these compliments because they're expecting a fight, kind of, you know? It's lovely. And then Ben asks the obvious question, like, why are you here? This seems kind of beneath you. And then she goes on to say that Bobby Newport's daddy called and offered to pay $1 bajillion to run the campaign. She's like, it's a crazy amount. I shouldn't even tell you, but I will. $250,000. I cannot imagine that.
In 6 weeks, 250,000.
Nope. Oh my God. Incredible, insane. Gives us a peek into Bobby Newport's financial life. It's wild. Ugh. I love this so much. Leslie says Joe Biden is on her sex list. Well, he is my sex list. And I just love this so much that they like are all laughing and they're getting along and everyone, and like Ben is so confused. And she's like, you can do a lot better than Joe Biden. Ha! It's so cute.
Is this a thing that people say sex list? Because I thought like hall pass or something, but like I've not heard people say sex list. Like, what does that even mean?
Well, does she say celebrity? I think she says celebrity sex list.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I think I've heard that. I don't know if it's not like always said, but yeah, I've definitely heard that.
Okay. I thought it was just a weird way of labeling it.
Yeah, well, they say that on Friends too. When Ross has Isabella Rossellini and it's like his list, his like top 5 list or whatever. And
okay.
Yeah, I think it's pretty, especially celebrities. It's like a well-known thing. Like if you see the celebrity, like you can absolutely do whatever the hell you want with them.
Yeah, no, I thought it was called hall pass though. Like,
yeah,
I think
they do say that too.
The phrase sex list is weird to me because I'm like, what does that mean? Like you had sex with them, or I mean, I know it's not, but yeah. I don't know.
No, I hear you. People do say hall pass, but yeah, I think this is your equivalent of potato.
Yeah. Yeah.
They do say it.
Anyway.
I know. I need to think of who's on my celebrity sex list. I'll think about it a little bit. You know who I really was thinking about the other day because he was on the Emmys is Rob McElhenney. Is that how you pronounce his name? The one that's on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I'm going to have to look him up.
He is so handsome and funny and weird, and I love him. And Jack Black.
Of course.
Which is so funny because, yeah, they're such different body types and everything. But you know what they have in common? Humor.
I think this Rob gentleman's face kind of looks like one side of his face is like pushed down a little bit.
Oh.
That's my thought. But he is cute.
I've not noticed. Anyhow, do you know anyone off the top of your head that would be on your sex list?
You know,
Your hall pass?
sometimes I get stressed because I'll think of somebody and then I'll think of someone later. And I'm like, oh no, that was a way better choice.
Well,
But
you can have like a top 5. It's a list.
yeah, I mean, you know, Channing Tatum, Step Up was a formative film for me. I really like love Nick Miller. I love that like Midwestern
Jake Johnson.
scruffy, like yes, plaid wearing. Yeah.
I wish he had his life together, but yes, I love Nick Miller. Love. And Jake Johnson in general. I just love him so much. I don't love New Girl. People are really surprised when they hear that. I don't love New Girl, but I watched it specifically for Jake Johnson.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
Yeah.
And like
he has a new movie out that Kyle and I watched the other day.
Oh yeah, how was it?
It was very interesting. Like is a super unique premise, and you kind of don't know the whole time if it's real or fake. You should watch it. It's an interesting kind of like thriller, but it's also funny.
What's it on?
Hulu.
Okay.
I can't remember what it's called, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen him on a lot of social media, like interviews and stuff like that, I think promoting it. He was also on, have you watched Minx yet?
Mm-mm.
It's on HBO, and it's about this women's magazine, and he plays like the porn, like head of a porn magazine, basically.
Okay.
And it's so good. And it got dropped, I think, from HBO, but somebody picked it up. I can't remember who picked it up for season 2, but it's really good. Super funny. Okay. Yeah. If you're listening, please write in and tell us who's on your sex list, because I would love to know. All right. Okay. So then we learn that, you know, Jen doesn't even like Bobby. Like, he's an idiot. And she is like, man, now I really hope you win. And they're very thrown off again. And Leslie's like, this could be the best case scenario. Like, she's just doing this because of the money. She doesn't really like him. But then we get this other curveball that no one expected when we see Jennifer on Purd, and she's trashing Leslie. And this is when we learn that she's not just going to take the money and run. She is going to do her job, which is like tough. Sad. Yeah, I would be panicking too. Now we see, oh my gosh, now we see this campaign ad that Newport is running and is making fun of the Leslie, like, when she was a little girl ad. I just love this so much. I think they did a great job of making fun of, like, such a good commentary on negative political ads. Like, city council is a real job for a real adult, you know?
Yeah, it's like, what are you implying? That she's, like, still a child?
Exactly.
Because she was once a child.
Oh my God. I don't think so, kid. Oh my God, it's so funny. Friendly reminder, though, young Leslie is played by Audrey Scott. She's in school in real life right now, like university. And I'm not sure if she's close to graduating or has yet or whatever, but that's why she hasn't been able to send in voice memos. But she did say that she was only there for one day and she didn't really get to meet anybody. So she doesn't know how much she'd be able to really tell us about it. But she said she had a lot of fun. It was a really cool time. So I'm still proud of her for going to school and being on and also doing this when she was young. So shouts to her. I love Leslie's gray pantsuit here. I think it looks really professional and really cute. I just wanted to tell you that.
I love that.
She says that she wants to attack Jen Barkley at the senior center. And Ben is like, no, like, let's just keep her on the prize. Like, we still need Ned Jones' endorsement. Don't let her get ahead of you. And then here we go again with the small comments, like, you're like a sexy elf king. I thought Ben would be like into that, like with his Lord of the Rings. Like, he doesn't love Lord of the Rings movies, but he likes the books and Game of Thrones. So I thought he would like it, but I think he just thinks that she thinks he's short.
Which he kind of is.
I think he's just small. Like, I don't know if maybe he is shorter, but I think he's a small dude, especially in this one. Like, he's skinny, I feel.
I wonder how tall he is. Is he like 5'9" or something?
Oh no.
Let me just find out real quick.
Okay, let's find out. But yeah, I think he's skinny in this show.
He's 5'9".
Okay. Wow.
That's not very tall.
Did you just guess that?
I think I did.
Wow. Molly. That's great. I wanted to tell you also behind Ben on the counter is a Frisbee, which I think is maybe not intentional, but it was a callback to me for when Andy and April were eating chili off of a Frisbee.
That's funny.
Okay. Well, back at the Parks Department, Anne is talking about the water fountain project. She says she's working on a poster campaign, which I was like, but it's just going to be posters around City Hall explaining like what? But I think that was just like the start of what they're trying to do. And then they move on to like the actual practicality of the situation. And anyway, I think this is really funny though, because Andy really is just like such a child, and he's like the perfect person to test this because he's going to do what everyone else is going to do and what a kid would do, kind of. So this is kind of the perfect test subject, I feel.
I also think that he thinks that he's testing the water. Did you feel that way?
Yeah.
He drinks it and then he's like, that's good. Yep.
Yeah. And then at the end, he's like, still good. Which honestly is probably best for this testing, because if he knew that he was being tested about the spout, then he probably wouldn't be as truthful about it.
Yeah.
Or maybe he would. But yeah, I think that's so funny. That's good.
Still good.
I Googled April's book here that she's reading. It's called Air Force None. And it's apparently made up by the prop master, which is amazing. We did so much research, I think, a while ago, but Gay Perello is the props master, and she always has amazing like book titles and covers. She probably is in charge of those signs that you saw, because when Ben resigned in disgrace, he's reading this book. I can't remember what it's called, but again, the title cover was something where I was like, is that real? And I Googled it, and she made it up, like, and just put that, made like a book cover to put on there.
That's funny.
I just think that all of those, that's so funny. Air Force None is great. That would be a great title.
Yeah.
So shouts to her. And yeah, this is where I had that note about, this is so disgusting. Like, don't they think of any type of disease when they do that? And I did think about COVID and how that would be, oh my God, just everything.
Mm-hmm. I was also cracking up because Andy does this like fish lip thing. Did you notice that?
Yes! He like sucks it. He like sucks on the water fountain spout like a bottle or something.
Yeah, his lips are like.
Yes, we should definitely point that out, because that, I'm sure he's not the only one, but that was really a funny Pratt move for him to do. Mm-hmm. Jerry has the idea to put a cage around the spout, and it looks like one of those little cages for like a light bulb workstation thing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I wonder if they did that like on a construction site thing. But again, like, Andy's the perfect tester, because a child would absolutely take this off and just be like, can I get to it still? You know what I mean? And then Anna's asking everybody else for their suggestions, and Tom suggests Voss water butler, $600 a bag. What's better than water fountain? No water fountain. Oh, Tom.
Is that like, would that be advertising? The fact that he literally says Voss and Toomey?
I don't know. I mean, you mean like for a government kind of thing?
I just mean, no, I mean like the fact that the brand names are mentioned in the show.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they had to get approval for that. I don't know if it was like product placement. I think it was more of them just being stupid.
That's what I mean. Okay.
No, that's a great question, because in the last episode or the one before that, they have PetSmart bags front and center because they took care of Champion or whatever, and I was like, they had to have done something with them.
Yeah.
But maybe I didn't even think of that. I just saw it was such a Tom character thing to do these like $600 water bottle things for fucking City Hall. But maybe could have had some kind of agreement.
Yeah.
Anne asks April what her idea is. Anne gets all sassy and she throws her book. I was like, oh wow, that's heavy for Anne. Anne doesn't usually do that or go that deep, but I get it. I mean, it's not the maturest, but April's kind of being a dick, so I get it. Okay, so back at the senior center, this is so amazing. Leslie's like giving a TED Talk kind of vibe. She has her headset on and she is rolling her wheelchair thing. I love this so much, the way that she says this, the way it's written, everything. Uh-oh, stairs. I'm not a professional mountain climber.
And the seniors are like, Mhm.
Yeah. Looks so funny. Side note, this was just me like with continuity, I think, but the thing they wheel out, are you knowing what I'm gonna say?
Yes.
It looks so much shorter, first of all, than the actual ramp they put on. Secondly, it had to have taken way more time for them to put it on
It's literally
than just
like
a millisecond of the pan back and forth.
it's 1 second and there's no sound like that would be made by putting the ramp in. It's just like suddenly there.
That is so true. I was like, I never noticed that. And then I was watching it and I was like, they would not have done that so fast. And also, is that even the same ramp that they pulled out in the first place?
Yeah. And then there's just a guy remaining with like a screwdriver or something. And he just like backs away.
Ooh, I'm not here. Don't look at me. Oh my God. But this is where I have my note, regardless of if that's real or not. This is where I have my note of how efficient that must be, even though it does probably take longer to set up. It's nice that it's like just an addition to the building instead of like pouring concrete or making a whole new structure for a ramp. Like, that's kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. And then this crazy town person, senior citizen person, says ramps are an idiot's game. Like, what? He says that this is just a dumber version of Bobby Newport's plan. Rude.
He's a plant.
Molly, you know that's, I have a deleted scene for you.
Really?
Yes, Molly. Okay, well, first of all, oh my God, I'm so excited. That got me so freaked out. Okay, first of all, let me tell you this guy's name. This guy's name is Mitchell Edmonds. He's been in Weeds, Modern Family, Martin, Days of Our Lives, West Wing, a bunch others. He also has another scene where he says Leslie's Park stuff is for kids. Like, why should my tax dollars be going to merry-go-rounds? Like, I fought in 2 wars. And I was like, oh my God, this is such a great commentary. And there's a few other people here in a deleted scene where Leslie, like, has question and answer thing. And there's this, like a couple different ladies and this guy. Oh my God. Wait, I can't remember which one it is. Is it this one?
Yes, the young woman in the sporty blue jumpsuit.
I just want to say I think you're wonderful. My grandson is very handsome and kind, a real catch.
Oh, that's nice. I have a wonderful boyfriend, but I'd be happy to have your grandson's vote.
Well, he's in prison, so you can't have it.
So that's the first thing. I'll get to our bombshell of what you mentioned first. And this lady, she sadly passed away in 2015, but she was a great actor and was in the movie Nebraska with Will Forte and Bruce Dern. Do you remember that movie? It was a black and white movie and it won a bunch of awards.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I'm sure if you looked it up, you would be familiar. But she was in that. She plays the mom. And at the end, it's so funny. At the end of that deleted scene, like it's kind of a throwaway. She says it's a homicide. Like she's like, it was a homicide, by the way. Like why his son was in jail or her son was in jail. And it's just so funny. There's another lady that says, I hear you're gonna end Medicare. And Leslie's like, I don't have the power to take away that. What? And that lady is played by Gloria Henry, and she sadly passed in 2021, but she started acting in 1947. And her IMDb is amazing. On her IMDb, it actually says that this was her last project, which is amazing. But she was in Doogie Howser, Mr. Belvedere, which we actually talked about Mr. Belvedere on one of the Parks episodes. Dallas, Newhart, like so many things. But let me see if I can play this deleted scene for you.
Hey everybody, listen, we're just going to take a quick 5-minute break, and then we'll be right back for a big old finish, okay? Jennifer is here.
Okay, so that sound is the I must not have recorded that part. Okay, I'm so sorry. This is a wild ride that we're on. That sound is the opening of all the Werthers.
Okay.
That's why I was like, I should have explained that before you heard that. But it was like, again, leaning into all the old people thing. There, everybody was opening up the Werthers. I must not have recorded it. I'm so mad at myself that I didn't do this. But in the deleted scene, Jen Barkley said she hired all these people from a community theater in Kentucky to mess with Leslie / like be hecklers. She flew them out there like with her campaign money. Molly, I'm so upset that I didn't record that, but I do want you to know that you were right. Even though it was a throwaway thing for you to guess, it was real.
I love that.
And then that's where the end of the scene is that I just played, where Ben tells Leslie, like, these people are plants, like, we're just gonna take a break now because everyone starts going crazy. And Ben is like, who even are these people? And Jen's like, oh, I hired them. And he's like, you can't do that. And she's like, I'm doing it, like, it's happening.
That makes so much sense that she would create that situation.
Totally. Oh my god, I am sad that I did not record it, but
That's
it's okay.
so funny.
At least I can tell you.
Yes. This is where I have a few more notes about signs.
Okay.
Because as like the Jen popping in and all that stuff is happening, there's a bunch of signs in the background. So one is chess club. It says, don't be a pawn, come be a king.
Ooh.
And then this one really gave me a riddle. It's called, it says, memory bingo. Come get your memory back and win a prize.
Huh.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? Memory bingo.
How do you
like?
win?
Does the scorecard have things that you have to remember from back in your day? Like for us, it would be like, I don't know, something about Skechers. I don't know.
I don't know. I thought that was such a weird thing. I mean, it's funny, but
that is weird.
I want to know what they imagined. How do you get your memory back?
Oh my God, that's so funny.
I don't know.
Wow. Yeah, that's a thinker. That in and of itself is trying to get your memory back.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, and then this is the Swingers Club says bust a move, and then it has the Swingers Hall of Fame. Oh, and okay, one more thing. Kind of two more things. First of all, on Jen's Wikipedia page, there were some typos, which, like, of course, you're not meant to be reading Jen's Wikipedia page. So, like, I'm sure they just typed something out really quick. But then also there's this sign. This is me being a stickler for consistency and stuff. It says,
I love it.
It says from 12 to 1 o'clock by qualified personnel. Like, I don't remember what it is. Something happens every day from 12 to 1. But it says from 12, just 1, 2, to 1:00. That bothered me. And then it also, personnel is spelled wrong.
No!
And these are things that I know that nobody's paying attention to the signs, but I just don't get why it's not done right the first time.
No, it's actually really interesting you say that because I think the last couple of episodes, there have been things that I've paused on, like Facebook pages or just like random little things. And it hasn't been as accurate as in like season 1 and 2, where in season 1 and 2, they were really like on their game. They were really doing their stuff. I think even in the last episode, they had a thing for Leslie to sign and I paused on it because it was like for her campaign or something. And it sounded very good and very thought out. I mean, it was a bunch of legal terms, so I don't think they really needed to go crazy with like the accuracy, because as long as you throw in some legalese, it's like, yeah, sure, that sounds right. Yeah. But I was like, oh, I'm so proud of them. They're like getting back on their game. And now I'm like, oops. Although the Wikipedia page was pretty decent. I do like that. I know there were some typos and some probably mess ups, but the Wikipedia page was well thought out and really funny. But I love hearing these like behind the scenes kind of like goof ups, because I think it's fascinating too as far as the props department goes. Like, obviously, like you said, you're not meant to look at it for, if at all, for like more than 0.2 seconds. So like, who even cares? Yeah. I didn't even notice it. But it is fascinating to see like everyone's human and they somehow messed up. But that's I would have too. 12 to, I don't know. I'll have to ask my mom if she's like made community signs like 12 to 1 like :00 p.m. instead of 12. You're saying like it should be 12 :00 to 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did they spell personnel like personal?
It's just it's PERSONEL. And there should be 2 N's.
You guys.
Yep.
That's funny. Oh my God. Well, I appreciate that. I always love to hear it. Is there anything else you have?
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
Except for me being...
Well, let me know further on if you do. That's amazing. Then Jen Barkley kind of starts this aura / like atmosphere of being everywhere all the time. because Leslie says, like, Bobby Newport doesn't even have a plan. What are you talking about? And Jen's like, was someone talking about Bobby Newport and his plan? And she brings out Ned Jones, and I love this so much. He's, like, talking about himself in the third person. Ned Jones is here. Make way for Ned Jones. Anyhow, back at the Parks Department, Donna's asking, like, maybe we should just turn up the pressure so that you don't have to put your face so close. And then that turns into a whole water fight because April gets, wet accidentally, and then she shoots Anne with it, and then it turns in this whole thing. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what my plan would be either for how to fix that water situation, honestly. I feel like someone should just stand by a water fountain and, like, smack you if you... So now Jen is explaining Newport's plan, which is Rise Up, Pawnee, which is straight up just copying Leslie's. And it reminds me of that Oreo and Hydrox thing that they mention in this episode later on with Tommy's Closet. Have you heard of Hydrox?
I don't think so.
Oh, God. That is all due to Oreo. So Hydrox was the original Oreo. That's what it's called, Hydrox. They were a sandwich cookie. It was chocolate cookies and cream in the middle. And Oreo straight up stole their plan, marketed the fuck out of it, and now no one knows what the hell Hydrox is. And they bring it up, like, quite a few times in the... I don't know if the Sherverse or, like, people in the writing staff, like, just know this, but they brought it up once in Parks already. And then when Tommy's Closet comes around and Henry Winkler steals Tom's idea, he says Hydrox, and I did, like, a whole deep dive on it earlier. But that's what it really reminded me of when Jen steals this, because it's straight up the same thing except for, like, a tiny little tweak. It's crazy. So
that is crazy. But also Hydrox is a terrible name for a cookie.
It's a terrible name. I looked up why. I can't remember. It was something about, like, oh God, it was something about, like, hydrogen and something else, like, is, like, the chemistry of how to feel happy or something like this. It was, yeah, it sounds, yeah, pretty terrible.
Like oxytocin.
Yeah, Hydrox is what it was called. Yeah, crazy.
Interesting.
Anyhow, yeah, look it up, you guys. You'll be surprised. Okay. So where are we? Oh yeah. So now we learn that Ned Jones has endorsed Newport, and Newport isn't even there. He's not even doing anything. It's so frustrating.
That's true. The fact that this is all about him and he's not even in the episode.
Yes. So now we're back at the Parks Department, and we learn that Chris has interviewed people for Leslie's job, and Ron is so confident, like, you won't have to hire anyone. We're doing great. You know, we're fine. And you go into the Parks Department, and it is all capital letters chaos. The water balloon fight is happening. I think even Anne is kind of in it now. Love that Donna is just point blank shooting Jerry with a hose. Everything I'm wearing is suede, says Tom, which is
so funny.
Oh my God. And then Andy runs up to Chris with water balloons on his chest, like, yelling kamikaze, and he has no idea that it's inappropriate. Like, even after he hugs him, he's like, that was so fun. Oh my God. And then, like, he has a brief second when Chris is, like, not responding, where he's like, his face is like, why aren't you happy?
That was interesting too. I feel like to see Chris be so over it that he's not even like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, he usually just kind of brushes things off or, like, thinks something's delightful, but he was, like, not having it.
No. Yeah, because again, I think that his whole thing is like, you had to prove to me, and this is not proving it to me, you know? But, like, I don't know, man. I know Andy's dumb, but, like, that's not just your, like, direct boss. Like, it's not Ron or Leslie. That's, like, the whole fucking head of City Hall. Like, what? God.
Yeah.
So now we're reading the newspaper, and it's awful. Leslie's headline is "Nope's Ramp to Nowhere," which is a beautiful headline. Wonderful. Very sad, though. And I did not pause it on this. And even if I did pause it, I feel like it was small. I couldn't really zoom in on it as much as Wikipedia. But yeah, Ben is faltering for the first time. Like, he's kind of shaken up. He's like, I guess we could go on Purge show. And then he kind of, is indecisive of, like, maybe I'll call them, or maybe I'll go down there. He, like, doesn't really know what to do. And it's like, oh God, we're not in a good situation.
I did have a note that the fact that Pawnee has a tabloid is wild to me.
Well, it's more of a newspaper, isn't it?
Well, so they had the newspaper with the headline about the ramp to nowhere, and then they're reading the Pawnee Sun that has the thing about him being in Majorca. Like,
yes,
it's so funny to think that they would have a tabloid in this little town.
Yes. I know, it is funny that people care that much. I think we have like a county paper, but it's not a tabloid, it's just a county paper, but like I think there's like scandal in there too, so what are you gonna do?
2 in 1.
Yeah, exactly. Well, April tells Ron that Chris wants to see him for the final round of interviews for Leslie's replacement. And Ron, well, to April's credit, like she does apologize, and Ron says, normally it'd be fine if you were unproductive, but this point in time is not right. And then Ron says we may be in for a good old-fashioned shakeup, and shakeup is in the episode title, which is always fun. Campaign shakeup. It is weird that it's this shakeup is not the campaign shakeup, but it's still a shakeup.
Yeah, true.
Oh my gosh, in the deleted scenes, they show all the interviewers who they interviewed for Leslie's position. I couldn't find all of them on IMDb, which was really sad because I totally would have reached out or something. I think one was listed and her name is Carrie Higuchi, but her pic isn't on IMDb, so I don't know if that is really her. I think it is, though. It's a really good deleted scene, though. I'm going to play it.
No, the master's was in administration and the PhD was in government policy. Very impressive.
22 years in government and 0 of them in a parks department?
I think my experience would transfer.
I think it would transfer to the trash can. Hypothetical. A teenage boy in Ramsett Park is attacked by a family of raccoons. What do?
That doesn't seem likely.
It happened 8 times in May of 2010 alone.
I'd call for an ambulance?
Wrong. You call for a park ranger with a semi-automatic weapon. You clearly don't know too much about Pawnee raccoons. So your name is Tamara?
Yes, but I go by Tammy.
No Tammys?
I agree completely.
So Chris is the one at the end that says, I agree completely, and he's the one that throws the resume in the trash for Tammy's.
Just because he knows about Ron's Tammy troubles?
Yep. And she has proven a troublesome entity to him as well because of the Leslie trial and all these things, and he just knows. He knows this is not a good idea.
That's so funny.
I know. I wish they would have kept that in. That was good. All right. So Chris is the one, that throws a resume into the trash in that deleted scene. And then Leslie is now going to see Jen. And she comes in guns blazing, yelling all these things. Jen is so cool, calm, collected. Like, what an inspiration. Honestly.
So funny that she's yelling and Jen's like, nice to see you. And Leslie's like, nice to see you too.
Nice to see you too. Yeah, like, oh my God, do you want to take a seat? And then she keeps saying two-faced carpetbagging. I had to look up what carpetbagging was because I don't know what it really means. I've heard it, but I never really know what it meant. Do you know what it means?
No, I feel like I might have looked it up before and now I still just can't remember. Is it really nasty though?
No, it's not. It's not. I didn't know like where I had heard it before because I don't use it. So it's like, why would I do that? Anyways, it's an insult. I found it refers to roving financial opportunists, often of modest means, who spot investment opportunities and aim to benefit from a set of circumstances to which they are not ordinarily entitled, which is like a very like professorial way to say like they are kind of like two-faced in a way and just out for their own like benefit. Apparently it started because Northerners who moved south during Reconstruction, which if you're not a history person is after the Civil War, and it was in the 1860s and 70s, they were named, carpetbaggers were named for their suitcases because everyone started moving down here and they had like what pictures, it was like cartoons kind of, but it was like a picture of almost like, you know, in the olden days with like a stick and you put a little bag on the end. It was kind of like that looking thing. And then once they were in the South, the carpetbaggers, quote unquote, bought up cheap land and businesses. And sometimes they even took political office in southern states because many former Confederates were barred from holding political office rather. So they basically just kind of took over where they weren't raised or didn't really have anything to do with like this area. They just were like taking what didn't belong to them, if that makes sense. So that's where that term comes from, and that's why Leslie's calling her that, because it makes sense.
Interesting.
So yeah, the more you know. Anyway, Jen is still just so calm. And again, this is where she has her line of like, my job is to beat you. It's not personal. I like you. I'm just trying to win. Like, what a mindset.
Yeah. And like so frustrating for Leslie because she cares so much and Jen doesn't care and she's just crushing her.
Absolutely. And also like you're expecting to have a fight with her. And she's just so infuriating because she's like, no, but I like you. There's really no problem here. And she's like, but there is a problem. But no, it's just not, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, what? How, like, takes the wind out of your sails kind of thing, you know? And she knows Leslie loves waffles. Oh, she's good. So now Chris is presented with this spoutless fountain by the Parks Department. They just took off the spout so that no one can put their whole mouth over it. I still feel like people would put their whole mouth over it. But I guess it's a good start. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they'd be confused enough or something. And I will say, I don't know. I feel like Andy this time has definitely like been trained to say the things that he's going to say. So I don't really know if they tested it on him. But what are you going to do?
Yeah.
It works. Chris says it's cost effective. And if it keeps going like this, we won't have to fill the Leslie void. Love Donna's line. I think Ben's already filling the Leslie void. I'll give it up for that. I think it does. Like I said, I have not been the biggest fan of Chris just because he's been kind of annoying to me lately. But I do think that it's really interesting to see Chris like be good at his job. And he does care and he doesn't always want to make these decisions. But like, it's just kind of like, well, it's not in the same exact vein as Jen, but like at the end of the day, you have to do your job, or they take their job very seriously. So like he's just doing what he needs to do, kind of thing. And I liked how serious he was. And then at the end, he's like, okay, we figured it out. You know?
Yeah.
Jen has this moment where she kind of pulls Leslie's plan out of her. And I just love this confidence or air of, and that's why it's kind of funny that you mentioned a chess sign, because she's like, if you don't have anyone to play chess, but you love chess, which I do, you would just play chess against yourself. And I was like, Jen, you're a smart inspiration lady. You're crazy. Did you ever watch 30 Rock?
Yes, but it's been a while.
Okay, there's this scene where Liz Lemon is trying to negotiate her salary, and she's following lessons from Alec Baldwin's or Jack's own leadership like class, and he doesn't know that, but then he ends up finding out, and he basically like plays against himself, and Liz Lemon is just kind of like staring like, oh, what's gonna happen? And he like keeps talking back and forth to himself. And that really reminded me of that. This episode reminded me of that one, which I think is funny. Anyways, I do love how nonchalant Jen is, though. She's like, you just need to beat her idea. Like maybe, and when I say nonchalant, she just comes up with this idea to like have a free shuttle for seniors. Like that could work. Like she just comes up with these ideas. She's just so experienced. She's just like, whatever.
Yeah. But then even then I was like, so are you actually trying to help her? I mean, I guess that's what Ben is saying later. Like you can't tell if she's giving you advice or if she is like calculated behind everything.
Yeah. I took it kind of, again, just like the chess thing. She's just like giving hers. I don't think she's trying to help. I think she's just like doing what's next. And then she's going to try to counter it. And she's just playing against herself, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, she definitely gets in their head. And this really reminded me, she's probably not listening, but this really reminded me of my sister. Like she comes up with the ideas like that so fast, like professional ideas like that, because she just has so much experience with it. Like when I'll talk about like editing resumes or things like that, or editing my own resume, she'll like throw out an idea so fast and it sounds so professional and thought out. And like, I was like, where do you even come up with this? It's crazy. Again, just experience. So shouts to Brooklyn. And to anyone that can do that. Then we learned that Jen Barkley bought JJ's a cappuccino machine, which, oh my gosh, what a level to strive to be at, to just buy. Also, that copper cappuccino machine looks crazy. I know it's like a legitimate machine, but way crazier than the normal like Breville ones that you see at like Starbucks, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if they've gotten smaller or do they still make really big ones like that?
I don't know. I feel like those copper ones are probably so expensive. Let me look it up because, you know, speaking of Friends again, that's what Central Perk has, the copper like cappuccino. Copper cappuccino machine. That sounds like a cup of proper coffee.
Copper cappuccino.
Oh my God, Victoria, the one that I see that looks like the one that she got was $17,000.
Oh.
Great. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, they have smaller ones. Oh, but this one like is like the diner old fashioned one. Can I go to? I'll post these pictures, you guys. Stock owned one. We're at RC Vintage. That's like a vintage one. Oh,
antique.
Antique. Exactly.
I don't know if you want your coffee maker to be antique, but
they have other smaller copper looking ones that are like $1,700. But dude, you just don't need it. You don't need it.
It's a small portion of her $250,000.
That is so true. But there's this one, man, I'm looking at one that looks exactly like the one that she got for JJ's, and I don't see a price on it. Like the vintage one or the like newer looking one. It doesn't say. That's frustrating. Why do you even have it listed then? Is it not for sale? Are you just on here?
That is
What if
odd.
I say add to wish list? Please log in to add product to wish list. Why? Do you want my business or not?
No.
Okay. Sorry, guys. That was a tangent. But still. All right. So now we're at Purds. Ben is mad that Leslie met Jen without him. And she's in their head. Like you said, they keep going back and forth. Like she thinks that we think that she knows that I know. And I'm like, oh my God. Also, Ben's delivery of like when Leslie says, so what do we do? My campaign manager. I don't know.
And then her reaction too is kind of like he just said something that made sense to her. She was just like, yeah.
I know. I feel like she was really just trying to help him feel better about not knowing. She was like, okay, we'll figure it out. I could sense some trepidation there for sure.
Yeah. It was so funny. I was trying to write down that note and I was like, how do I spell?
I don't know. Oh, God. All right. So now Ron and Anne are sitting awkwardly on the bench in Ron's office. Well, awkward for Anne. I don't think it's awkward for Ron. And he's saying that he wants Anne to take on more of a leadership role because she solved the water fountain thing. And to Anne's credit, like she's really nice and does not take credit for it. She says April really did that and explains like April would never want you to know she tried or she cares at something, but like she's the answer. And I think that's really special of Anne. I don't know. I just thought it was really nice. I know Anne would never say that she did something when she didn't, but I just think it's a nice acknowledgement.
Yeah.
And it is, to me, that's what's so frustrating about April is that she is so smart and can do so much. She's so capable, but she like won't ever show it. So I guess she's getting there, like, growing up kind of thing. I mean, you have to think about like she did start when she was 19. I don't think age is always a good measure of how mature you are, but it can be, you know? Oh, this was fun that I found out. Ron starts to read a book while Anna's still sitting there, and he's like, oh, you're still here? The book he's reading, he wrote. It's called Paddle Your Own Canoe, One Man's Fundamentals for Delicious Living by Nick Offerman.
Wait, that's a real book that Nick Offerman wrote?
That is a real book that Nick Offerman wrote.
Oh, cute. I want to read it.
I know. I'll post it in the show notes. And, also it was fun. I started following Offerman Woodshop, as we know, or I would hope you know. Nick Offerman does a lot of woodworking on his own. He's very talented. He has his own woodshop with like a couple employees and stuff. And I reposted something on the podcast stories, and they commented back and were like, thanks for sharing. And I was like, oh my God, always.
Cute.
So nice. So I'll tag them too so that you guys can follow, or you guys can just follow on your own, whatever. But I think that's so cute. I did not know that I knew he did stuff more so after parks, like with the wood shop, I think. But I think it might have been during. But yeah, he wrote this book, and I think that you guys should definitely take a look. So now we're on Perd, and Leslie is faltering because she doesn't really know what to do. And Jen is just so experienced with this. Like, she knows what she's doing. I did agree with Perd, though, for once in my life, where Jen is like, there she goes again. And he goes, I don't know where she went in the first place. And I was like, same. What?
Oh, so funny.
But I just love how they portray the local politics meaning so much. Like, everybody probably watches the show. Everybody respects Perd. They care what Perd and Joan Calamezzo have to say. So it's, like, really pertinent that they get this information right and all these things. They show the poll, though, that 78% agree with Newport's plan and not Leslie's. So frustrating. But also shows how great Jen is at her job, because he didn't even have a plan, like, 2 days ago. And then Ben has this great idea. He pulls up that tabloid that you talked about with the headline of him being in Mallorca. Bobby not even being there. And Leslie is so close. She's so close to winning that argument. I don't think she should have said floozy necessarily, because we don't know that lady's life. But that's all right. Well, it's not all right, but you know what I'm saying. Like, she'll learn. It's fine. But I love that comeback, though, even though she says floozy. I love the comeback of when Jen says, Bobby's personal life is neither here nor there. And Leslie's like, it's certainly not here. I think that's great. I was so proud of her.
That was good comeback.
And if whoever wrote that, I don't know if it was exactly Dan Gore, but whoever wrote that, well done. Great. Anyways, I just love this. I think it shows, like, her thesis for her campaign of, like, I'm here, I'm in Pawnee, I'm fighting. Like, Pawnee deserves someone who cares about you and who is, like, actually present to take care of these issues, kind of thing. But oh my God, then Jen pulls out the firecracker of, like, this lady being an anti-landmine advocate, and Bobby's trying to open a factory in Mallorca or Europe or whatever the fuck, and it's so awful. And Perd's whole thing of, I also love, I meant to say this earlier when Jen first goes on Perd, when she's, like, saying all these awful things, like, Leslie is just everything that's wrong with Pawnee, but she's saying it with a smile. It's so great. So when Perd is like, I'm not here to declare a winner, but Jen is a winner. She's like, thank you. And that's when she has a little bit more of a sassy face, but
yeah, that's a good commentary on politics of how if you're willing to just make shit up, you can succeed. She doesn't care at all. She'll just say whatever she needs to say.
That is so true. Yeah, totally. People hire. Well, I guess we do technically hire. People vote for people because they say they're going to do something, and then they get in office and they're like, I didn't mean it. Yeah, so we're at the bar now, and again, Jen is literally just everywhere, showing up all over the place. And we learned that factory cover story thing for Newport was made up. She literally is like, what? Oh, that was made up. But don't fight me on that. That's going to backfire. God. She's like, there's no way out, man.
Yeah. I like that we see her in normal clothes for the first time.
Me too.
No pearls.
Yes. And I feel like she took off her blazer. Like, she might have had that shirt under. I don't know. But she took off her blazer for sure. Oh, my God. And, like, she's just there living her best life. Just, I already paid for it all. It's fine. Salt in the wound, man. Making them feel so small. Ugh. But also, yeah, take advantage of that. Buy the whole fucking restaurant. I don't care. Oh, my God. The tag, I meant to mention, I didn't write this in my notes, but it just jogged a memory. When she says, I'm going to order, like, a 3-course meal where each course is dessert. And I was like, it sounds so great. Okay. This is the tag. Ron is asking April to pick up some slack. Also, side note, it seems so late. Like, it feels so dark in there. And, like, what? Why? And everyone else is gone.
Yeah, they're at the bar at the same time.
Yeah, they're at the bar at the same time. It feels weird. Why? What? Weird. Maybe Ron asked April to stay late? I don't know. It just seemed very out of character for both of them to be there. Chris, I could see being there. When they call him, sure.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Seems so dark. But I do like here, Ron kind of redeems himself in this way where he says, I don't like to see you wasting your brain. Like, you can't stay here. You can't be my assistant forever. Because that is so rare, believe it or not. Like, people do expect you to stay at your job or to be somebody's assistant forever. And then when you, like, want to move on, they're like, what? Why? And, yeah, so it's interesting. I love that Ron has that kind of mentorship for her, too,
Yeah.
It's very special.
Mm-hmm.
I just love that too, of this like beautiful arc too between them two, because they've always had a nice relationship, and so like having Ron be the one to kind of push her into the next step of her career or like part of her life or whatever is very nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very cute.
And then he calls Chris to tell him, and he just hangs up on him. I have been a fan of April since day one. The best. But that's all I've got. Do you have any other things? Any side quests?
I don't think so. I would like to submit Milo Ventimiglia to my hall pass list.
Love that.
That's my final note.
He's the one from This Is Us, right? And Gilmore Girls.
Yes.
Oh my God. Did I ever tell you my story about him?
I don't think
Catering?
so.
Oh my God.
I don't think so.
I'm going to tell you again. For those of you who don't care about this story, that's the end of the episode. If you need to go, you
Goodbye.
can go. But I have this amazing story. Well, so I worked a lot in LA catering for like like really expensive weddings, but also we had a lot of like Emmy parties and like release all that kind of stuff. And I can't remember if it was Emmys or what it was, but there was like sections for each show, and This Is Us was one of them, and Milo was there, and I got to be his like personal VIP like person. Like I got to serve him drinks, water, whatever. He asked my name. When I walked by, he'd be like, "Oh, Holly, can we actually get this thing?" And I was like,
God, I could cry.
He is the nicest person I have ever served, and I just think every time I hear something nice from him or about him, or every time I hear someone talk about him, I'm just like, he was the nicest. So
Oh my
he
gosh.
should definitely be on your sex list.
That does not help. That doesn't help my obsession.
Oh my God. He was so kind. I can't get over it because I've had so many, and I'll tell you this off air, but there was another person there who, from that same show, who was not like mean, but he was not very nice either, or like considerate of like how it was late and we were fucking closing everything down and he needs to leave. But that's okay, whatever. And this is the last thing I'll say. I have two people that I have loved serving. And the second one, you're not gonna believe this. No, it's so random. Corbin Blue.
Oh,
so nice. Kind.
Wow.
Like, does most people, and like, I'm not expecting these people to go out of their way to be like, oh my God, hi, like I'm there to serve you. I get it. But these people that do go out of their way, it's such a refreshing like thing that I always keep with me, and I'm always like, this is so nice. And one time Lisa Kudrow was there, but I didn't talk to her because I was really scared. And I like walked back, not backstage, like towards the kitchen, and she had like a little booth area because I think she was speaking or presenting or something. And I stared at her like probably way too long, but she must be used to it because she did not look up. Or maybe I was more covert than I thought I was, but I was like so starstruck. And she is so beautiful and wonderful, but also I'm working. I can't like, this is not professional, you know what I mean? But who's to say if I would have done it if I wasn't working? But oh my God.
That's so fun.
Milo and Corbin were great.
Yes. Okay. I look forward to more off-air stories about celebrities from you.
Okay, sounds great. Again, reminder, if you have not rated or reviewed the show, please do that. And if you want some bonus episodes from me, they will be probably out as early as next week. There is already a bonus episode for the next, actually, this timing is shitty because it doesn't work because I have episodes out like already for when we recorded them a million years ago. You guys, there's going to be bonus episodes. Keep a lookout. That's all I have to say to you. And thank you, Molly, for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is so fun.
I'm so excited that you got the behind the scenes stuff. That is amazing. I'm so happy that you did that. It makes me so excited. It's my favorite. Lots of pausing, but it's fun. No, I loved it. I pause all the time. It takes me way longer than it should. All right. Thanks, guys, for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
There's a park and some pals, and there's also therapy too.